Hello. Welcome to my pumpkin. I need to grab my mic. I almost convinced myself not to do this because I forgot my microphone, and I swear I didn't. I swear I didn't forget my microphone. I put it in that bag, so it either fell out before I got it here or in my car. Either way, I don't have it. I don't think it would matter because my hands are going to get messy doing this, speaking of. And I don't think I would have had it in me to hold the microphone while doing this, especially since I'm at like a really weird angle. So, who would have thought? Who would have thought that 5 days before Halloween it would be so freaking hard to find a pumpkin? I went to Meijer, I went to Kroger, and finally at Walmart I saw 2 pumpkins. And one of them was half rotted. I was about to pick it up and take it too because it looked like a fine pumpkin. It just didn't have a handle. And then I realized that's why it was rotten. So this was the very last pumpkin at Walmart besides that other one. We don't count it. It was too far gone. And it's wonky. It's got this little hole on it. It's got 2 weirdly flat sides. And as all pumpkin and or Halloween connoisseurs know by now, you're supposed to get a pumpkin with a flat face that doesn't have too much damage on the exterior. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. If I want to do this pumpkin the right way, I gotta get a pumpkin. So this will be my first time carving a pumpkin in a long time. I'm going to try really hard to make it artistic. And while I do that, I'm going to make this a video about the amazing digital circus. If you do not want spoilers, you need to click away. I'm sorry. There's only 3 episodes, so like, go watch that for an hour and then come back and then watch this video. But at some point, I will stop talking about the amazing digital circus. And if you want to skip to that point, it is this timestamp right here. I am quite a fan of indie animation. I thought that was dirt. I don't think it's dirt at all. It's just some of that pumpkin webbing that gets on me. Like pumpkin guts that got on it from another pumpkin. Yep, that's not coming off. So whatever pumpkin we make is gotta be ugly. I was really hoping to scrape all that off. Pumpkin carving kits never worked for me as a kid. And although I do like doing different bits of art, I've never successfully made a fancy carved pumpkin. I've made like your standard ones, but working with all the layers and getting the scraping tools right, I've never done that before. The good thing about pumpkins is that they're produce, which means you can use regular old kitchen knives, and we're gonna see how this goes. I don't have any fancy X-Acto knives, but she's ready. So when I first saw that people were talking about the amazing digital circus, that little child inside of me that hated CGI the second that I saw it was not pleased in the slightest. I have never really liked the 3D animation. I've grown to love it. I think it's necessary in its own ways. But it was so bright and like drowned out by brightness, like a lot of 3D animation aimed towards kids is, that I was like, ugh. But it has been crazy for content farming. I mean, if I make the mistake of clicking on some theory video about the amazing digital circus, I get into a rabbit hole. I get reel after reel after reel. And I understand that like this is one of those things like Five Nights at Freddy's and etc., where kids are just gonna really pick it up because of the way that it looks, even if the themes are not for kids. I never did get into Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't necessarily think that it was like way too adult for kids, but I do know that like kids were not necessarily the audience, but kids love it, and then that's why from what it seems, that Poppy Playtime was only created to pander to kids like that. So I was very apprehensive at first. So what I'm saying here is that too many times we encounter soulless, empty content that is devoid of any actual storytelling. Not saying that Five Nights at Freddy's is like that, but I felt like that was, Poppy's playtime was just a market to kids because the bar for kids is really low. And to see something that not only isn't made with that in mind, nor do I think they're trying to bait children, it's more of like a really interesting creative decision that ties this entire idea together really well. Because I'm just here for good storytelling. I'm just here to experience really interesting ideas and concepts and watch how characters would interact with each other in that situation. It took me a while to come around to the idea of like actually watching it. After the content farming and after seeing it here and there about this new indie animation that's just popped off, I couldn't help but to like watch it. And like I said at first, you just pop right into this. At first, I hope this pumpkin isn't rotted or anything. It shouldn't be. So at first I was really apprehensive of the Amazing Digital Circus. But there are a few things to note before I really get into like my theories. And one of those things is that they said that they're only planning on releasing one season, which means two things. One, it sounds like there's going to be 10 episodes. So, and the second thing, not that that was really a point on its own, is that it means it's going to be packed with plot. And I love shows, especially indie animation. I think it's so important for people to make their ideas to be condensed and to just really focus on the storytelling and just, all that really important stuff that makes media what it is. I'm all for it. I think it's really neat. So when the first episode happened and Pomni was transferred in, it was really cool how they were doing a musical number, and I think that was deliberate. And basically, as far as the overarching plot goes, I think there's one of two options. Either one, everything that's happening in the digital circus is absolutely supposed to be like that. Or two, which is a common idea, is that Kane, the AI is rogue, and basically he's keeping them in there like something went wrong and he's trying to maintain something that he's not even coded, therefore equipped to handle. So both really cool ideas. I think the whole existential dread of it is just fantastic. The first episode with the doors was fantastic, and there comes my first theory, the door. I'll have to play the clip for you whenever I go through and edit, but there's a scene where one of the characters mentions that the guy who got abstracted, what was his name again? Right. That he talked about a door before he was abstracted.
Last time I spoke with him, he was rambling endlessly about some exit. Kind of like you, Pomni. You might be going insane too.
But wait, wouldn't that more likely mean the exit does exist?
Could also mean you just have a jump start and losing your mind.
So my theory number one is that before characters get abstracted, they start seeing the door. Because in a way it kind of like pushes them to the end. Like I think there comes a point where there's like a do or die moment where you can either like suddenly change and really get your shit together really quick, or you abstract. Adapt or abstract. And that kind of leads into my second theory, because you can see Pomni having a nightmare where she's starting to abstract, and then she doesn't. And if she sees the door in the first episode, and what if I think is true and people start seeing the door when they're about to abstract, something tells me that she in a way is immune to it, that she was ready to abstract as soon as she came into that game. Think of like an immunity to a virus. By her being strong enough to not succumb to the abstraction, she's kind of important in her own way. And I think that's why it's really important for her to take turns with everybody. My third and final thing that I wanted to point out, only because I haven't seen anybody mention it, is how Jax, the bunny character, everybody's like, for the longest, maybe he's an NPC that's there to like make their life hell, and then it was confirmed that no, actually he's not an NPC. None of them are NPCs. So I didn't really think that one was true anyway, but what I do think is true is that he is absolutely there to antagonize, whether it be of his own doing or if it be residue from before the game got weird. In the theory that the game wasn't supposed to be like this, Kane's just doing his best as an AI to keep it running. So I think I think that's really important because people have pointed out how Jax ruins the adventures by doing what he does, but something that I haven't really seen anybody talk about was when we see
Compo's been obstructed.
I've been looking for this. Thanks for keeping an eye on it, Coffee. I'm gonna head out. See ya.
Clown Dude abstract when Pomni goes to meet him and he abstracts. The first thing Jax says is, I've been looking all over for that. Thanks for keeping your eye on it. That's weird, and nobody's really pointed that out. They have pointed out how Jack seems to start shit in hopes that people get abstracted. Like it's the one nugget of life that he gets while he's there is being able to be so terrible to people that he makes them abstract, which loops back around to like, well, is he just like an asshole of a person, or did he have something to do with the creation of the game and it didn't go the way he wanted, and now that he's stuck inside of it, he's just gone rogue and he's just doing everything he can to make people like suffer like that. So those are my main three theories. I do think that Pomni's presence is going to be like a huge game changer. So I don't know. I think it's really cool. I did write down all my points, and I know that I missed some points. I just can't remember which all ones they were, and it's going to take me a while to do this pumpkin. So if I remember, I'll be sure to let you know. Man, pumpkins look so scary. Look at that shit. Ugh. Spindles. It's got a spine, bruh. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've done this. But overall, it's really cool. The slow burn's been great. It's been great. It's been one of those that have been really fantastic at leaving the breadcrumbs without telling you everything that you want to know. Which honestly for me is such a relief to see. Too many times in media these days, I feel like we're either rushing to get to the point or like we are taking so long to get to the point that it's exhausting. And there's really like not been much in between. There's just either been like an overload of information or like we hope you like these characters enough to be bored for 3 seasons before it picks up. So it's refreshing. I love indie animation so very much. Hell of a Boss is going to be coming out with their new episode very soon. I know I and many other people are very excited. I've also heard that Glitch has like a program where they're trying to help indie animators get the ball rolling. And when I looked into it, I actually saw that they helped Lackadaisy get... That chair sure is creaky. That they helped Lackadaisy get the funding for, I can't remember if it was their pilot that they had released or if it's for more episodes after that. But that's still like super dope. I think I am not alone when I say that. I and a lot of people really, really want to see everyday people push the boundaries of animation and original storytelling. Because you can't just like Hollywoodify everything and expect it to like resonate with everybody. Man, this pumpkin's so stringy. It's more gross than when I was a kid because I feel like this pumpkin is past its prime, but it doesn't stink and it's not terrible. So I just love to see. See, but I don't have that scoop tool. I can use a spoon, a big spoon. We got big spoons, baby. So this is the first time I free-handed a pumpkin in the way that I have. Here is the face. I might change that later. That's the only part that's gonna like come out completely correct. And then I put a ghost and a couple of eyes and a couple more ghosts. And I started to make an owl, but I don't think I'm going to finish that. And then a haphazard cat, because I don't know if that's going to go through either. I just kept adding stuff. Because I love Halloween. It's so freaking cool. Freaking pumpkins, man. So, this year I was supposed to go to a haunted house. And maybe I'll get lucky and she'll reply to me with but hours remaining in the Halloween season. I do hope so, because I sure love Halloween events. And I haven't been to a lot lately in the last few years. I usually make time for like one haunted house. Because like that stuff's so expensive now for no reason. Why is it $35 per person to go to a frickin' haunted house? Like, obviously I love it. I love the artistry of it. But Jesus Christ. Even if I want to offer to bring one friend, that's like a $70 expenditure right there. And that's just for the tickets. That's not for all the extra stuff you can buy while you're there. That's not for the gas to get there. That's not if you decide to get a Halloween costume and dress up. That doesn't count either. It's like, I get it. It's a lot. It's a lot. There's just so much of the inner pumpkin that's just keeps coming out. Do pumpkins usually behave this way? I must know. Yay, and here we are. We got a ghosty on the back. And a couple other things that I didn't do in the face. Yay. I don't remember pumpkins being so stringy. Like, I do, but like, it's so stringy. And every time I start to cut the strings, I just start unraveling more of the pumpkin. So, I don't know, pretty cool start. Oh my god, I want to be done. Like, why does it gotta take so long? Why is this pumpkin, like, falling apart at the seams? My god. I'm just assuming that this pumpkin is just past its rape date. Or maybe it's just because it's been sitting outside. I don't know, but this pumpkin's fucking ugly. Someone tell its mother. This is terrifying. Alright, yay! So we made a pumpkin today. I feel disgusting. I'll give you a final shot when I can find something to light it up and what it looks like in the dark before we conclude this video. Okay, first of all, it was extremely difficult to find a candle that looks funny. I might continue doing it. I also did the lid wrong, so I can't get the lid back on top. But I'm probably gonna cover it in more sketches like that. Just like a simple little... So I'm going to talk about the amazing digital circus for just a little bit longer. Go ahead and skip to this timestamp to get back to where I'm not talking about it. Basically, the only thing that I didn't really address that I wanted to was kind of like how I think Pomni is immune. I think that her mental state just came in already ready to abstract. And because of that, it kind of short-circuited the system in a sense, kind of, sort of. Because either the program isn't used to handling a mindset like Pomni's, or this was all planned from the beginning. And that's what's so cool for me, is thinking, is this part of a plan, or is this something gone wrong? And that's the really cool thing about Amazing Digital Circus, is that it's probably going to take a very long time for us to understand why things are happening, because that's the biggest question. Why are we here? Why can't we leave? And having that overarching question makes all of the other context that's equally as important still fills you with a sense of urgency. Questions are being answered that are really important. Like, I do think that Kinger genuinely can focus when he's in the dark, because of what happened when he touched his wife when she abstracted. I think that something kind of happened to him when that happened to her. I think there's a possibility that his wife gave him some kind of immunity also to abstraction in the case of his brain being fuzzy. So is the darkness being a time of remembrance a blessing or a curse? That's a really fun thing that I'm excited to find out, and it keeps dropping hints about Kinger's whole position in all of this. And we're probably going to know everybody's backstory before we know what's actually going on, because clearly the cast doesn't know what's going on. But I do think that the other characters have seen people who get abstracted see the door. And I think that everybody is aware that something is going on with Pomni, but I think they're expecting her to abstract. And every time she doesn't abstract, they don't know what to think. I think that Jax has always been the way he is, but I think it's safe to say that he's really upped the antics since Pomni got there, because the way that she's interacting with the digital world and the way that the digital world is interacting with her is much more intense and different than before. I genuinely don't believe that all of this hellish stuff that happens to her happens to everybody else, but either because she's a discrepancy in the system or because it was planned this way, it's terrifying for her. And to go back to the idea that it's all being planned, I think it's very interesting. The one thing that stood out to me was in episode 3, everybody has a different reaction to when they hold their breath. People have talked about that. That's a very obvious, thing that's put in there. What I think is interesting is how Kinger lit up right place, right time while they had to hold their breath. It is almost as if somebody has programmed this system to work exactly the way it's supposed to work. Like everything happens the way it's supposed to happen type thing, where the creator has already put this coding in the system and it was just waiting around for the right personalities to come in and disrupt it. But again, it's so interesting how we don't know. And if in the case, this is all just a rogue program, their creators lost control, they're not around, whatever. It really makes you think about what exactly has been planned and what is just happening for seemingly no reason. And I love the idea that I have no idea what's going on with the plot, but it's a short enough series that it's going to be very well known very quickly to the viewers. And I'm excited. I'm super excited. I think that's really all the rest of what I had to say. There are other things I could say about the show, but it's nothing that nobody else hasn't already covered. I just felt really excited to talk about that moment with Jax, because he might be a lot more malicious than people think. And it makes me wonder what his role in the creation of the circus was, because I think he might have had something to do with it, or he might have been like the first person after Kinger or something like that. Like, I think there's a lot that's going to affect the plot with him, but that's something else everybody else has caught on to. I think it's just going to be really fun to find out what that is. Now we're going to jump to the end. And I cut it some more. I really liked it. By the time I was finished, this is what it looked like. I think it's pretty cool, very simple. I would go back and recut it, but I don't know if I will. Halloween's so close. It's only 2 days away, I think. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's 3 days away, but tonight's only got 4 more hours in it, so it's basically 2 days. And so I'm not going to worry about fixing it up too much. I think it's really cool. I wish I could have added more, but my hand kept cramping. Dear Lord, I could not stand that cramping too much longer. It was low-key killing me. I wish I could have made it look all pretty and stuff, but it is what it is. It's cute. It's quirky. I am extra happy with how the shadow of the cat reflects on the wall, and the face just has a lot of character. I don't know how to describe it. I just winged it. I just drew some Sharpie on it and used a kitchen knife, and it looks pretty dope. I don't know. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you. While doing this, my PC storage became really full, so I started going through things and deleting them. And while I was doing that, I realized that part of the reason why my storage is so full is because I have a lot of raw video footage of things that I started to record and never followed through with. So since I need to clean my PC anyway, I think it would be really cool for me to revisit projects that I've recorded in the last few years that I just never posted, because they have just been, collecting dust on my hard drive. And if I'm going to make content, I might as well recycle some footage. I'm not going to try to go into too much detail of making it look pretty and stuff, but I still think it's a really good idea to have, and maybe something will be interesting along the way. So thank you again a million times. Go check out and see if I've posted anything else. It might be interesting. You might like my personality. I don't know. Let me know if you want to see certain things from me. I do lots of art stuff, lots of different stuff. So thank you very much, and happy Halloween. Gosh, it's the best time of year. I hope my friend gets back to me about the haunted house, because I really want to have some spooky times. Have an excellent night, and I will see you next time.